This is a budget written by Fine Gael, a budget that abandons workers and families to look after those at the top. No help with the cost of living crisis, no action to end the rip-off, no break on taxes, a blueprint for the continuation of the never-ending crises in our housing and health, and election promises, one after the other, torn up and thrown in the bin. The first impact of this budget will be that petrol and diesel will go up tonight, hitting hard-pressed families already. It is one of the worst government decisions that we've had. This budget reads as a catalogue of handouts for those at the top. If you're a big corporate landlord, a wealthy property developer, if you're one of the bailed-out banks, this budget is a mighty sweet package for you. But if you're one of the hundreds of thousands of ordinary households that's impacted by the cost of living crisis, if you're one of the people that's facing the avalanche of rip-off bills, then this budget screws you over. It's only you guys, the parties that have been messing things up for ordinary people for over a century, could have come up with that one. This should have been a cost of living budget. That's what was needed. That's what people were demanding. A budget that would make life affordable. Households are being hit by out-of-control prices right across the board. Costs are keeping rising. They go up and up. The bills keep on coming. And working families, parents who work hard all week, are coming under severe pressure to take care of the basics. And yet you lads have the brass neck to waltz in here and you puff out your chest, you smile at each other, you backslap, you applaud each other, but there is no measure in this, no measure to help ordinary workers stay afloat under the wave of rising costs. The big question today is what's happened? Because during the general election, you told everybody that the cost of living was the #1 issue, that the cost of living issue would be dealt by your parties. Simon Harris went everywhere he could find a mic or a camera. He said, cost of living issue is my #1 priority, and if I get elected, I'm going to deal with that.
Hear, hear.
You delivered nothing in this budget for them. Delivered nothing. You screwed workers over royally in this budget. And it won't be lost on anybody that last year's budget, just ahead of the election, there was no problem of providing a cost of living package. And it's now clear that that was just a sweetener bribing people with their own money for votes. And I say to you, what do you say to the renter who's already forking out €2,000 a month and knows that more crippling hikes are on the way because you refuse to introduce a rent ban? What do you say to the stressed-out couple who you promised over and over again, Pascal and Simon, you promised a plan to deliver €200 a month childcare within the first 100 days of government? Yeah. What do you say to the motorist who's been ripped off by greedy insurance companies, who's jacking up prices and premiums non-stop? Nothing in this budget to help them. Indeed, you're going to hit them worse by pushing up the price of petrol and diesel. And what do you say to the people who are fleeced week in, week out in their food shopping? You've very little to say to them because you've left them high and dry. Today, you're delivering a huge volume of tax cuts, no doubt about it, and ordinary workers get nothing. That's the priorities of this government. But others get tax breaks as well. Developers, landlords, they're going to get tax breaks, and of course, the sweetheart deals for the banks remain. It says it all about what we get nearly after 15 years of Fine Gael in power. Is it any wonder that we now have 1 in 5 children who live in this state in poverty? Is it any wonder that we now have more than 5,000 children are homeless under Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael? You only have to look at your limp response in relation to the big energy rip-off. You have a record number of households, 300,000 who can't pay their electricity and nearly 200 who can't pay their gas bills. And starting this week, starting tomorrow, they are going to see double-digit electricity prices, but no energy credits in this budget. You walk in here today, you tell those households that you're cancelling the energy credits that they relied on for the last number of years. That is shameful, even for Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. You've refused to take on the big energy companies who are making bumper profits of people's hardship. They squeeze and they gouge their customers, and you sit there and you do nothing. As we enter into the winter, when households have to put on their heating longer and their lights for even longer, people are now going to be fleeced when they don't have energy credits to shield them. And that's on you, Minister. And it's not just energy companies that are gouging people. Government is turning a blind eye to price gouging right across the board. Insurance companies, banks, large supermarkets all make obscene profits on the back of ordinary workers. Workers and families are looking on today, and they'll be asking how we can have a surplus this year of over €10 billion and next year of over €5 billion, and there isn't any real help for them in this budget. The sly, sleeving way of doing business is written all over this budget, presented on every page. Only in this government's twisted world could you present a hike in student fees as a cut. Whatever way you try to muddy the water in this, Minister, people understand, students understand and parents understand that it is costing €500 more in fees this year than last year. Do you think that the students of Ireland can't do the maths? Sinn Féin has called on you to give working people a break that they deserve. We called on you in this budget to scrap the USC on the first €40,000 that people earn. That's the fair way to cut taxes. That would put nearly €750 into workers' pockets this budget. We told you to scrap carbon tax increases, but the government plans to put them up tonight and for the next number of years. We called on you to increase pensions and core social welfare payments by €15. We asked you to deliver a €20 increase for disability payments to recognise the additional cost of living with a disability. In your budget today, you have shortchanged pensioners and those on social welfare. We saw skyrocketing rents, and instead of increasing the renters' tax relief, you choose to increase a tax relief for landlords. It's like you don't believe that workers and families are deserving of an affordable life. Every budget you produce, in fairness to you, a masterclass in delivering for the few at the expense of the many. Well, the people of Ireland have had enough of all of that. They deserve so much better than being cheated year after year in every empty budget you have served up. During the year, spending runs out of control and the government acts like it's normal. Billions more spent, but no more houses built. Overruns and overruns, but no improvement in services. The government has time and time been exposed as serial wasters, and nobody takes responsibility. Nobody is held to account. For too long, Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil have failed the children right across the state. 1 in 5 children now live in poverty. That's your record. 1 in 5 children now live in poverty as a result of your government. 1 in 5. €10 billion of a surplus this year. €5 billion next year. 1 in 5 children live in poverty in this state. And it didn't happen by chance. It's happening because of the budgets that you have introduced in this House year after year. And again, we see no increase in child benefit rates. We called on you to increase child benefit by €10 and provide a double payment this year along with other targeted supports. You should have doubled the back-to-school payment. You should have extended the fuel allowance by 9 weeks. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael committed to cap childcare costs. Remember that one, Simon? Remember that one? That was the policy that you copied from Sinn Féin, and you're welcome to it, but we want to see it implemented. We want to see it implemented. You said, Simon Harris said that he would produce a roadmap. This is before the election now. Simon Harris said he would produce a roadmap within the first 100 days. It was a priority for his government. 100 days came and went. 200 days came and went. Still no roadmap. He said, reducing the cost of childcare is a priority for me, and I can tell you, as leader of Fine Gael, we will make real progress on the cost of childcare in this budget. Instead of delivering a cap of €200 a month, what you've delivered is a cap of €200 per week. That's what you've delivered. Another election promise broken. Just like childcare, you've copied Sinn Féin's plan to abolish the means test for carers. And again, you're welcome to that policy, but let's get it implemented. This budget isn't going to fix the housing crisis. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil will never fix the housing crisis. You come in here like every single year and say, this is the budget that's going to fix the housing crisis, this is a housing budget and all the rest. And what happens? Every year, the crisis gets worse. House prices go up, rents go up, homelessness go up, and more people lose hope. In terms of health, we have a health system now where people are afraid to go into the hospital. That is the reality. Despite the effort, the huge effort of our healthcare staff, that is the reality. And that is why the first thing this budget should have done in health is to provide the €2 billion in capital funding to make our hospitals safe. This budget is going to come and go like all of the rest of them. Nothing that I've heard here gives me hope that the crisis we face will be addressed. Now, when we were growing up, our parents taught us important lessons. One of the things we're told is that if you show up and work hard, then you can build a good life and you can secure a good life for yourself and your family. That life would be affordable and that you'd have a fair chance to achieve your future you want. Well, after 15 years of Fine Gael government, that lesson, that expectation, that bedrock of life has been shattered for an entire generation. You have made the extortionate cost of living the new normal. Well, it's not normal. It can never be acceptable that households, even with 2 incomes, are borrowing for their parents just to pay the bills. It can never be accepted that our young people are forced to the airports, to Australia or Canada, to seek the opportunity that they should have here at home. I've never seen election promises abandoned so fast and so completely. You've prioritised in this budget, and you made a conscious decision. You've prioritised the well-off, the landlords, the developers, the investors, at the expense of ordinary workers. You have really shown your true colours. You have taken a calculated risk. You hope that people will forget this by the time the next election comes around. The people are going to remember this one because you have shafted them royally.